Come on.
5, 4, 3, 2. Yo, what up, good fam? You're now tuned into the BHURDE podcast, a new platform for free thought, real exchange, and positive change, branded together, all to empower
you.
Because you
over here, to be real and to be felt, you must first
be heard. I'm Hype Walton.
I'm Dom Jones. Sean. Hype.
I love it.
It's okay.
That's cool.
Roll with it.
I'm rolling with it. That's what Sunday Fun Day is all about, Dom.
Oh, man.
Rolling with it.
Another Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah.
We're back.
Your smile's showing all of it, man.
I got my red lip on today.
Yes.
Check me out.
we have some new guests with us to enjoy Sunday Fun Day with us as well, too.
Yes.
Yes.
Who are you? Go.
What's up? My name is Natasha. I go by Bowler. I am one of the co-hosts for Bando Bevs, a podcast where we talk about cocktails, mocktails, and have curated conversation.
Yes, and I'm Paris Jackson, the other half of the Bando Bevs podcast.
You
can find me on IG at DJ Pro Jam.
Oh,
yes! Drop it!
Yes, ma'am.
And you can check us out at Bando Bevs.
Yeah.
Busting out the bando. That's just in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in our head too.
Yep. all the Bando lyrics.
I love it. I
love that.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to P14.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to the vibe.
Yeah.
We're happy to be here.
I know you are, Paris. You've been like head nodding the whole time.
I'm in my whole zone right now. This is like a playground for me. This is like the music, the setup. Like I love AV stuff, so I'm just like, oh, what's happening here? So.
Yes.
That's all big props, yo. That's all big props. I like that.
Round of
Because
applause.
Paris has loved like music like that. You know, people that got that ear.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Okay.
She got that
Okay.
ear, you know. And then they do the joint where they be making music videos.
Yo,
They killing it. They be killing it. So the fact that they come here and they have the vibe, I'm like,
Yes,
yeah.
I saw the one when y'all had on pajamas.
yeah. Little Pretty Ricky.
Yes. My favorite joint was with the neon green. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
I love how the outfit came together.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Y'all sick with it, man. Y'all sick with it. That's a vibe. I like it. Well, thanks for coming through, y'all.
Yes, I'm happy you guys
Thanks for
are
having us.
here.
Yeah.
We're gonna get chatting.
Yeah. We've been chatting a lot already. The vibe's been good, but what we talking about, Dom?
Today we have for you all.
Yeah.
What's love got to do with it?
Hold that ear, okay? That's how you
Tina
gotta get it.
Turner, okay?
What's love?
You gotta have the shoulders. You gotta roll the shoulders.
I can't even do it without laughing. I told you I had something for you.
I knew you was gonna do something.
Surprise.
Yes.
And that came from
Bring it from the diaphragm.
That came from the Nutbush diaphragm right there.
Nutbush city limit.
Oh my God.
Okay.
What's love got
you
to
hold
do
the
with
ear,
it?
you know you about to get in.
Yeah.
You about to go, oh, you got that little bang popping out the side of your neck.
Right.
I got my bang today.
Not the bang.
And I'm ready.
Oh, man.
Okay. See?
Oh, see, I ain't gonna do this.
See?
We doing
gonna do
it.
it.
That's what we here to do. Yo, that is my favorite song of 2020 though.
Mine's
The Bang.
I cannot stop singing it. And now you got it in my head. It's gonna be so bad for the rest of the
Whenever I
weekend.
do my front like this, I'm like, I got the bang today.
Siobhan, you know that's my joint. Freaking bang.
Okay, so really, the
yes,
topic is what's love got to do with it? Okay, so we want to think about how has love impacted your personal and or professional growth, or both, within the last decade. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Deep topic.
Natasha, you want to start off?
Oh. That's how we play.
Don't feel the pressure. Don't feel the pressure.
Threw you in there.
You know, this when you phone a friend, right?
Right.
It's just an interesting question, you know. You guys are, you know, in your own right, very
She used
powerful.
to be throwing her under the bus, so you know.
All the time. I live under the bus.
Oh, dang. How is it under there?
You know, it's all right.
You get Amazon under there?
Right. You know where to find me.
So
It's still
P.O.
got
box.
rhyme.
She will ride.
Right.
Nah, we just had to ask because, two powerful black women individually, it's not giving away the recipe book, but just, give us what you got. What does it take to get there?
Yeah, I would say, and I'm going to approach it with like love of self, right? A big S, capital S, is what has driven me personally and professionally. Not like hearts and eyes. I love you, you love me, we're a happy family love. Yeah.
Barney.
But so with that, and I'm gonna more so talk about the personal development and what love has had to do with that, because it took me to love myself more, to really understand and acknowledge not only where I am but where I want to be, and love myself through that transition to get there, right? We were talking earlier about I recently I haven't gotten it yet. It's not secured, but I'm working towards my yoga certification, my yoga teacher certification. And a lot of that, came about, even my interest in pursuing that came about with me, doing the work personally to understand who I am and what I want. Not just for myself, but what I want for the world. And what I want for the world is more love.
Yes.
I want people to love themselves. I want people to love each other, because I really do believe that, love is the answer. I know that sounds so cheesy.
Yes, no, but it's the truth. Love is the answer.
And so if we continue to spread love and be love, the possibilities are endless. And so that's where I am personally.
Okay.
Professionally, I kind of roping that in a little bit together. I love solving problems. I love when people are like, I have a problem, can you help? And I'm like, yeah. Let's figure it out. And so that's
Nancy Drew.
Right.
I mean, it's not really a mystery, right? But let's crack the code, right? Let's work together to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I love to do that. But what I've realized more so than ever is that I like to inspire and encourage people to do that on their own. And I want to now bring that full circle into what I want to do with yoga, right? Because yoga really is about bringing people together, building community. It's all about equality. It's all about, social justice, all these things that we're really feeling today in this current climate. And so really being not just an example, but encouraging other people to do that too. And so over the past, I would say maybe 5 years, I've started slowly but surely put some of these pieces of the puzzle together, and it's just been amplified in the past 6 months.
Right. You're let me focus on this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I'm in the house all day, right? It's different when you're commuting to work. You're in the office with your coworkers talking about their problems, or thinking about things for other people and not necessarily thinking about things for yourself.
True.
And so that's why kind of going full circle there, bringing it back to love of self, capital S, because it all starts with yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned yoga too, as being community driven, and it kind of yoga starts with the self too, because when you're on the mat in the yoga class, probably if you're first couple times going to yoga, you're I can't do this pose. You're looking at everybody else man, she on a handstand?
Right.
I'm leaving,
I'm
never going to get there, and you stop. But yoga is about the journey, the self journey, right? Because you're gonna, as you breathe through these poses and focus on yourself, you grow in that practice. And it just kind of hit the nail on the head when she said self-love. And then she brought it back to yoga and community. I'm like, oh, you build a community by focusing on yourself.
Yep.
Look at y'all.
Yeah, I'm just, listening to her.
No, that is true. The first time I went to yoga, I went to Bikram yoga.
Oh,
that was my first yoga experience.
That's hot yoga,
that
right?
was adventurous of you.
That's hot yoga, right?
It's extreme.
It's extreme. It is extreme.
The room is 120?
I don't know.
Crazy?
It's like hell. That's what it's like.
Nonstop.
Yes.
You just sweating just when you're just sitting there.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to move.
I've been invited before.
Half the time.
That's the namaste they've been talking about.
Yes, my friend. Namaste on the track. I'm not coming back. That's what's happening here.
I'ma go.
No, I went. My friend, she was a yoga instructor in Memphis, and we met in New York. She's like, you want to come to yoga with me? I'm like, all right. She's like, you like to work out? Like, I think you would like yoga. Yeah. Like, yoga's boring. Like, it's very slow.
Yeah.
I'm more of like cardio girl. Let's go to a HIIT class.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you need to like chill out. So come to yoga with me. So we go, and I'm like, first of all, why is it 100 million degrees in here? She's like, oh yeah, it's hot yoga. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Put my puff up. Like, it was crazy. But while we were there, I felt so good. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, this was the best thing ever. I felt like I just could center my thoughts. Wow. It was almost like a religious experience. I felt like I was like in church almost. But it wasn't, it wasn't churchy. It just, for me, that's what it felt like. I could just sit and be with myself. Okay. And understand what I needed to work on for the moment, for the day, for the week. I'm like, and this soft voice that's talking in the background. It was just so relaxing, and I had the best sleep ever.
Putting
that night.
Yoga on my list now.
I'm so happy to hear that.
And then after that, I got a yoga. There was a yoga studio by my house. I went like once a week. To hot yoga. Yeah. I've never even been to a regular yoga class.
We gotta get you in a regular yoga class.
I've only been to the hot ones.
Yeah. I legitimately put yoga on my list just now.
It is. That is a capital S. What did you call it? Self-love?
Yeah.
Self-care?
Self-care.
That is. That yoga experience was phenomenal.
That's good.
That's dope.
That's
yes,
good.
I loved it.
I like that y'all all agree that self-care, is big out the gate first.
Yeah.
But you had to get to that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't just automatically, just happen. I know for me, like, I love working out. I love the gym and everything. I have a million other like avenues and hobbies and stuff, building applications and podcasting and stuff. But it took a while for me to learn like self-love was the necessary factor, the ingredient that I needed to actually get the fulfillment out of the things that I was developing, which is me.
Yeah.
It took a lot for me to get there. A lot of the distractions along the way are what I felt like were doing the thing for me, like out partying, drinking, hanging with friends,
But you don't get when you're doing that, it's fun in the moment.
Yeah, because you're collecting those memories and stuff
right.
like that, right?
However, when do you sit with your own thoughts and be with yourself?
That's real.
Yeah. That's when people run. Honestly, that's why I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking about a year and a half ago, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and it came from, I could talk about this too. I did a lot of self-development while in relationships.
Okay.
Not outside of them. So like I learned about myself through loving others.
Yeah.
But to get back to what I was saying, I stopped drinking. I sat in this workshop, and it was like a personal development workshop, and I sat there, and then people would get up and share their stories and their experiences in life, and a lot of people had like some stories about addiction and how addiction has affected them, whether it was somebody in their life or it was addiction of theirs. And then I was thinking about something that was kind of like something that I just did, and I was drinking. I was just doing it, and then I asked myself like, why do you drink? And I was like, oh, well, to be social. I'm like, oh, I'm social without it. And then I was like, oh, to network and, and get comfortable with myself. I'm like, I should be comfortable with myself at all times.
That's
like,
true.
I really want to,
do
it. And then every question I was asking myself about why I was drinking, I was like, that is not a good reason. So I was like, stop today. Never do it again.
Dang.
Wow.
I just went cold turkey.
Cold turkey. Year and a half.
A year and a half, right? And it's so funny because I come back to her because we do a podcast about creating cocktails.
Drinking.
We were on like episode 10, and I'm like, hey girl, I'm not drinking again.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I was like, well, I'll drink on the podcast only, but I won't drink outside of the podcast. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, but then I went back to the program or whatever, to the workshop, and then at some point they were like, well, how does your podcast support your sobriety? And I was like, it doesn't kind of.
Wow.
At all. They're like, Well, what can you do? I was like, I was like, we could create a mocktail version of the cocktail.
Yep.
And then everybody's like, I'm listening. Yes, I'm down. So all of that came about, and I'm like, yo, and it just gave like insight. Like, I'm calling Natasha up. I'm like, hey, what if we did, mocktail? She was like, oh my God, I have been thinking about that too. Like, it's just great. And it just kind of came together. It's like, oh, we can capture a wider audience, right? By like people who don't drink, who want a crafty, beverage, and they want to drink with their partner, or they may be a nursing mother, or they just don't feel like drinking that day, but want something cool.
Bevs.
So that all came about me asking myself, why did I drink? And then getting a chance to pivot the podcast in a good direction, and can help so many other people that don't drink.
Absolutely.
And then get creative with that, because like, how do we make this cocktail? I love alcohol, the taste of alcohol,
and y'all make some dope cocktails.
I
even made like 2 of them.
Nice.
Y'all made it was a rum one I made last year that y'all had on the show.
You and rum.
Okay.
See, I don't drink liquor that often. It's very rare.
You got
wine.
It's a few of them that they have that I know you'd like.
We gotta get you into some spirits.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I used to drink like liquor when I was younger, but I don't know what it is now when I drink. Like, I'll drink margaritas or tequila or, like a fancy cocktail somewhere. And then I'm like, okay, 1, it's cool. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll get 2. 2, I'm like, wasted.
It's age. Because I woke up on my 33rd birthday like, I had 1 drink and I feel crazy. Like, you could tell you were drinking enough.
Yes.
Different. Yeah.
So, it wasn't like you had a hangover, but you just know, like, something.
Something's
off. Right.
I don't have that with wine. Unless I drink, like, I don't know, a lot of it. 2, 3 bottles. A couple. Why would you drink? I mean, why would I drink 3 bottles of wine by myself? But I could definitely drink
just
one.
End up like that. You'd be like,
that's true. That's
the whole
true.
bottle gone?
Right.
Share that bottle with me, Dom. Share that bottle with me, Dom. I got you.
That's hilarious.
But speaking of that, though, speaking of like sharing and everything, I want to touch back onto a point that you said about when you first converted the show into mocktail, right? I remember hearing that episode, right? And even as we're like talking about it today, relevant to the topic as it is, it's crazy that a lot of people don't have that fortunate opportunity to have a friend that'll bend, as you need. Like, okay, you just want to drink just for the show? Okay, I got you. But
or then you're like, no drinks at all.
Even better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the full support structure. And I know we touched on the self-love straight out of the gate, but but it's a lot of factors that get you there first, and I think that's one of them.
Yeah,
the
support system.
That
chica
right
I
there.
think it could be thank you, right? And I think it's twofold, because not only am I willing to be a support for my friends, but like, Paris is also living her life unapologetically.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she wasn't asking for my permission to be sober. Right? She came to me and said, I'm sober. So, you know what I mean? Versus like, what you think about me being sober? Because I'm like, girl, no, let's
right. No, we got this thing going, it's popping. Like, no.
I got all this liquor, I will drink by myself. Versus like, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
And so then stepping into that, and I think like that goes back to the capital S. Like, don't be afraid of what you want to be, who you want to be. Don't ask for someone else's permission.
Yeah.
And so, like, one thing that Paris started talking about, I don't know if she touched on in the way that she wanted to, but like doing a lot of work based on like relationships she had been in, romantic relationships. And I think, well, I can only speak for myself.
There we go.
A lot of situations, like dealing with, the very unfortunate idea or characteristic of like a fuckboy. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
No, you're good.
No.
You're good. That word has been used on
Speak your
here.
truth, girl.
Many a moons.
I've said it many a time. Many a time, honey.
That word has been said on here many a moons. You're good to go. Let it fly.
And, I got to a point where just like asking myself, like, well, how am I attracting this type of person?
Let's talk about it.
And then that is when it clicked for me that like, well, I'm allowing this type of behavior. Like,
Yep.
I'm allowing to, to be with people that are treating me this way. I'm allowing this to happen. If I stop allowing these types of people to impact me and stay present in my life in a way that I'm not happy with, like, what does that mean about me and how I care about myself and how I love myself, right? I think, and we sit around our homegirls all the time, and we talk about, like, somebody can't love you until you love yourself, right? And, like, and we say it so much that I think it kind of just, like, goes in one ear and out the other, but it's so true.
It is.
Because if I love myself unapologetically, if I am who I am unapologetically, like, there's only a certain type of person that's really gonna be down for me.
That's
right,
true. That's
right.
True.
Beat them out.
Yeah, you have to, and when we're and then in the same vein, when we're with our girlfriends and we're talking about that, then everyone has their story of the fuck boy. Yeah. But at the same time, we're like, well, you gotta love yourself. But we're never stopping to think that. But we're allowing, you're allowing this to happen.
Does it mean?
Just say it.
Because you're dealing with the fuckboy, that means you don't love yourself?
I think that means that we're putting ourselves on a back burner.
Yeah.
I think if you are dealing with the fuckboy and you are unhappy with how he is treating you, and you are choosing to stay with him, you are not loving yourself.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Okay.
For sure.
That's
Because at the end of the day, everyone is looking for that. You want that romantic spark, right? You're looking for that forever.
Right.
So in your mind, especially when you're younger, right? If we're going to talk about, decades, the last 10 decades.
We're talking about the decades.
Right?
Yes,
so if we're going to spin it to how has this portrayed itself in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
When 10 years ago, you're looking to be married. I want this guy to marry me. I want to be with this guy.
Right.
So, although this guy is a fuckboy, and 10 years ago we didn't have that term, you're just like, what the fuck?
What was the term?
I don't
know.
A dog.
Nothing but a dog. Oh, a scrub.
Right.
Or a scrub.
Scrub. Yeah, what were they?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, left eye.
I don't remember what we called him.
No,
I think it was dog
no
and scrub.
good.
No good. Ain't shit. That's
Right.
Ain't
shit.
Girl, he ain't shit.
Right. He just treating you bad, but you're like, but the other day he did blah blah blah. He really does love me, and then something else happens, right? Yeah. Or you find out, he was at the club with somebody, and
that makes sense.
Or buying drinks for a homegirl at the bar, not you. So in your mind, you're still feeling like, but he can love me. Like I'm good enough for him. Let me make him what I want him to be.
Change people.
Right.
This reminds me of a conversation we had last season around the same kind of flavor almost. Did you need the fuckboy in order to understand your self-love to get to where we're at now to have this discussion? Or there's a way to avoid the fuckboy?
I think people need experiences.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say let's go kiss some frogs so we can get our prince. No,
okay.
You get to experience people, right, and get to learn about yourself. Like I talked about, I grew a lot in my relationships, but you learn, and I like all my relationships. Like, I love all of my exes for what they were in my life at that time. They all gave me something important to be who I am today. Yeah. So,
that was still a person,
It's like, I'm not searching for what I needed, but, like, I need these experiences, and I needed those experiences to get where I am. And it's kind of like when people ask, like, do you have any regrets of who you dated? It's like, it was what it was. I learned what I learned. Moving forward now,
very
I won't
mature.
do this because I don't want that.
Very emotionally mature.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like, I don't, like, hate any of my exes, and I think one thing that's important as you migrate through different relationships is like, but what did you learn? Like, don't be so focused on like what happened to you. And sometimes those things are unfortunate, but like I have takeaways, good and bad, from all of my previous relationships. I become a better gift giver. But also like I came to the understanding of like what I wanted, and I wanted to focus on that versus what I didn't want. You know, like, I don't want that again. Versus like no. Like instead of focus on what I don't want, what do I want?
Okay.
You know, and then what type of questions do I need to ask up front to make sure this person is like
the ability to advocate for yourself.
I mean, because if I don't, who will?
Yeah. You have to learn from every relationship, whether it's romantic or even just a friendship. Or even a coworker, right? In every situation, you have to take good and bad from that, learn from it, and use it for the next.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
if you don't, then you're not growing as a person.
That's true.
You have to. Because then you know if this person did these things and you liked it, you know in that next relationship, well, these things happened to me before and it really made me feel good, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're able to verbalize, I actually like getting flowers every day or every week or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And the person that you're dating may not have ever given anybody flowers a day in their life, you know?
Yeah.
But if you verbalize that, then hopefully they will receive it.
Right. But then receiving it can look different ways, right? Because you can say, I really love receiving flowers every week. Right? This person may be like, I can only afford to give you flowers once a month. Right? So like now you can't be like, well, that ain't every week, so I'm out, right? Versus like, okay, so now you
go to Trader Joe's, bro.
Right?
Go to Trader Joe's, bro. Don't lose her.
Listen, Trader Joe's has the best flowers.
But they got them for $5. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they're cheap and they last a long time.
They do.
Longer than.
But is it the flowers every day, or is it that I'm communicating what I want? I'm compromising with you. We're doing this
That's
together.
That's what it is.
This is gonna work for me. This is gonna work for you. And best know that once a month, gonna be the best flowers you ever, ever had, and they're gonna get bigger and better each month.
I like that.
You work with me.
Yeah. A lot of people are, I won't say afraid, but just unwilling to go with the unknown of like the communication and the compromise of it, because it's hard. Like if I put myself out there and say that I can only do just a month of the flowers, right? That gives you the ability to say, well, I'm gonna go over here with Ricky who gonna give them to me every day. Right. You know what I mean? Versus just giving that person the chance to digest it and, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go with that because I trust you since you at least just gave me your transparent truth. Like, But that's the thing that you're saying. You're saying transparency and truth. In any relationship, you have to be transparent. Even at work. Like I too am unapologetically myself at work all the time. This that you have right now is the same when I am at work. And everybody knows it. And they're like, you are so crazy. I'm like, I'm just being myself. I'm not gonna come to work and be different. So if I cannot be transparent with you here in this space and be myself, then I'm going to be uncomfortable. And it's going to show that I'm not comfortable. I'm not being myself, and then you're going to say I'm weird. Yeah.
Or I'm closed off.
You're acting weird, or you're acting standoffish.
Exactly.
You're not acting yourself. Exactly. There's something wrong. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You always have to be yourself. That's why I approach everyone. No matter where I am, I accept all people for who they are. Yeah. Right? You can't expect everyone to act a certain way, right? Yeah. If somebody is doing one thing and it's like, it may seem a little strange, but that's just who they are. Yeah. And you got to roll with that. Yeah. You can't change people.
Yeah. That's real, because I'll tell Paris in a second, because I agree with you, like I understand, like I'm not everybody's cup of tea, just like everybody is not my cup of tea. And with whether it's love, friends, whatever, like I'm also a big like trust your gut, trust your instincts type of person. Yes. And I'll tell Paris in a heartbeat like, no, they vibes are off. I'm not down. And she's like, what? No, this is such and such. They're so cool. And I'm like,
I see the good in everybody.
That's real.
See, that's me too.
That's real.
But it's not necessarily like seeing the bad in them. It's really just saying like we are not aligned. I don't align with that person, and that's okay. Like I want them to be them, but that's just they're not for me.
They're not for me or my growth.
Or not in your growth.
That's how I usually look at a lot of things. I'm constantly always on ideas or what I need to get done or different goals or sometimes even different feats like to accomplish and stuff like that. That's just how my mind thinks.
But has that come with age? You weren't like that 10 years ago. Or maybe you were. Were you?
I think I was.
Who you looking to for validation?
The little one.
Your sister?
Because she knows.
She would know.
Shout out to sis.
So yeah, I kind of always feel like that. I try to like put that into like the whole dating thing too, like but more than anything, that's why I said I had to essentially come back to myself to understand like you don't have to imprint on your professional or your supervisor or your contractor or your girlfriend or the new person you're dating or anything. Just put all that on yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, develop that self-interest, that self-ambition just for yourself.
And they will come.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna show up to where you are.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
When you have a sense of self, it shows.
Yeah. It's a glow. You know,
it's definitely a glow.
And
Yes.
you attract to it. Like,
It's
oh,
definitely a
did what
glow.
you said you was gonna do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I like that.
And it's different when
That's
it's
real. It do hit different. It hit
versus when
different.
it's forced, right? Like you can really tell when it's forced, when someone is like forcing, like trying to be confident, right? Like you don't, you are not, like, because this is how you know. And I think it's major. Like Paris said, like it is attractive. It's attractive when someone keeps their word.
Yeah.
It's attractive when someone like shows consideration. When someone, you know, they heard that you love receiving flowers, and boom, it's random Tuesday, and
bam, flowers every week.
Flowers,
Thank
right?
you.
Like, I will never forget. I told my boyfriend, like, you know, I just love in movies when like the boyfriend comes into the airport to pick up the girl. Like, don't just be like, I'm outside, I'm at B5, right? And my flight was delayed, super delayed, but I'm like rubbing my eyes, and I look up, and I'm like, oh my God, you are in this airport. You paid to park your car to come meet me in the airport, wait for me to get my luggage. It was just like,
good man.
Like, you listened
Good
to
man.
And it was just like such a random comment. Like,
Good man.
I think it's so cute when that happens.
Yes.
You know?
Listening.
Yes, good man, absolutely. But like, again, going back to the transparency of like just sharing what you want. Like, I want someone to come meet me in the airport.
We are not mind readers. No one is a mind reader. Not even Miss Cleo.
even
Call me
as
now.
Natasha's friend, she will say, I don't want gifts. Don't give me a gift if I didn't specifically ask for it. Like, because we'll be in a friends group, like, we gotta give Natasha something for her birthday. Like, you think she might like this? You think she might like this? Natasha already told me that she does not want surprise gifts. Let's give her some money. You know, let's
Right.
Give her some money.
let's give her a gift certificate. You know, like, let her buy her own stuff with it. You know, a Visa with money on it. But I know, listening to Natasha go back, I'm responsible now for what I heard, and I'm gonna make sure that I heard Natasha say she didn't like gifts. So I'm gonna make sure everybody else know, like, hey, don't go buy her that. You know,
Please don't.
The little AKA frog.
Quick.
Right?
A little AKA frog.
No.
Quick pause
You
though.
gonna make her throw it away.
Quick
you know,
pause.
She don't wanna do that too.
It's Cash App is the best gift idea ever.
It really is.
Surprise Cash
My
App.
God.
Yes. Yes. Like, let me buy what I want.
Here's 55. Have
so
fun.
fast, too.
Or when she says that she's out with her friends and that she wanted to get her nails done or something. Here's 75.
That's the best notification to
Right.
get, right? You're like, what's this? For your nails.
I gotta come on my pocket today.
Yeah, I want design on every finger.
She was only gonna get the planes. She was only gonna get the planes. Now she's getting all the designs.
We're gonna do the wax today. Wax the paraffin, yes.
Brows, the lips.
Now she's sitting in the chair today. See,
Yes.
that's it. You're welcome, fellas. You're welcome. But let me. That was a game changer. When I found that out a couple years, I was like, oh, bet. All right.
Let me just drop this on you.
I be at work. Boom. Just like, all right, cool. You know.
Here's your lunch money today.
Yeah. Straight up.
See?
But that's how. Yeah.
It comes with listening.
Listening and applying. I said listening and application.
Yeah,
for sure. Because a lot of people don't, you know. And like I said, it's rough because we're fortunate enough to know that we're in constant developmental stages. You know, even if we don't know exactly where we're trying to get, or or maybe we do know, like we have our end game, and we know 10 years from now we know what we want to look like and stuff like that. But as long as we know that beyond the phases, we're going to keep on growing. We're going to keep on changing. We're going to keep on getting better. That's the mindset that we're in collectively.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't there.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because it hinders their other dating situations, their other professional and career growth.
Yeah.
You know, in and outside of who they are and stuff. how do we help them to unblock all those filters?
What we're doing right now, sharing, talking amongst each other, like never feeling afraid that something that you want to say might not be valuable to someone. Like everyone has a valuable opinion, a valuable thought. Like I'm like a sponge to everybody. Like even if I don't agree with you, I'm still listening to you. And it's important for us to just share like this and create podcasts and blogs and books and stuff like that. You never know when someone's gonna find it. If one person sees it outside of yourself, it's already done its job. You've already been effective. So I think it's not our responsibility for them to catch it all, right? But it's our responsibility for just to share our experience and help others. Just by living our lives.
I feel like it's a disservice, and it is really unfair to not share insight that we've gained through our experiences. Because either, like Paris said, like we're gonna find someone that relates, right? Like I've been there too. Or you find someone that's in the middle of it, like that's what I'm currently going through. Nice to see that someone made it out. Or you have someone that stumbles upon it and they've never experienced it before, but now they've heard or read or whatever. And when they do get there, if they get there, they understand that, well, I know someone that's gotten through this. This is what they said they did, X, Y, and Z. So I just feel like it's kind of like irresponsible for us not to share it. It's funny because I think back to like my parents always said, and I'm sure most black parents said this, but like, what happens in this house stays in this house, right? So, like grown folks' business is grown folks' business, right? And so like I feel like we've kind of become these people that just like hoard all this information, hoard all these experiences. Like we talk to some of our friends sometimes, and like someone will randomly be like, I want to talk about this thing that happened to me, but like I'm a little ashamed. Like please, like be patient. And we're like, okay, just talk. And then they're talking, and like then everyone's like, oh girl, that happened to me too. Right. And it's just because that's like real. I believe that we just, as we continue to create and hold space for people, then like over time, people become comfortable being more vulnerable. And I feel like along with transparency and sharing comes vulnerability, or requires vulnerability. And so we really have to be willing to like be raw. Right? Like I did not get here just, I woke up one morning like, bam, here's Bowler, right? This was an iterative process. I've had failures, absolutely.
That's real.
I've had my fair of ups and downs, but I think like where we are as a society with like social media and like all this stuff, like we're not privy enough to see like the development process. We see like, I got this car, these stacks of money, like all this stuff. Like, but what did it take to get there? What did you lose to get here? Where did you really? Was this where you were trying to go? Did you just land here?
That's real. That's real.
Like, and I wish we just had more of those conversations instead of just like, I'm fabulous. Everything's be good. Like me.
That's why it's important to always note that it doesn't, you might see the self-love now, even as the footage and everything comes out. You might see the self-love now. We got here, we deserve it, but there was some fuck boys and some fuck girls along the way. There was a lot of trials and tribulations along the way that led us to get better for ourselves. You can too,
And you can take these same tools and use them in your professional life
Absolutely.
too. Right? Like you were speaking about vulnerability. I feel like in my profession, you have to be vulnerable, especially when you're working with children. If you're not vulnerable, they pick up on that, right? You can't. Let me put it this way. Okay. I'm trying to be.
I know.
Trying to, I don't want to give too much out there.
Do it. You good.
In order to connect with other people's children on a daily basis and help them to understand the importance of what you're trying to project, you have to be vulnerable and let them see that, because they too are growing, right? They are growing just like you. Although you're older, right? And they're like, oh, you're just an old person. You don't know much. But when you show them and you share with them what you've been through and your experiences, to an extent, of course, you got to keep some stuff, depending on the age group. You have to keep some things to yourself. But when you let them know, like, hey, when I was in 6th grade, you know what? I fought all the time.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
You fought?
Yeah.
Yes, I fought. I cursed people out, and I got suspended.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. Yeah. But let's talk about how you can change that path. So when you share, like, I feel like a lot of people, especially in my profession, you try to portray yourself as this hierarchy. Right. I'm the top, I'm the head chief in charge here. This is my room. Be whatever. When you come in here, it's my way or the highway. When you do that, instantly kids disconnect. Yeah. But when you're sharing your experiences and you're being vulnerable, you know what? I just read that word wrong. Yeah. I don't even know how to say this. Can somebody Google it real quick? Like, don't you have 2 degrees? Like, yeah, I do have 2 degrees, but you know, I'm not a dictionary. Right. So sometimes you're going to mispronounce some words, and it's okay. Yeah. So let's look it up, figure it out, and move on. And like, you know what? You're right. That is a hard word, though. They kind of just like laugh, joke with you, figure it out, and like, dang, she's real. Yeah. So it helps to move the class along and to move the kids along, so they see I can just be myself when I come through this door. Yeah. I don't have to pretend. Yeah. And we're all the same. Yeah. Yep. But that's my perspective from what I do. But in other spaces, like, I don't know how you do that when you work in like an office space. Yeah. I mean, maybe you all can speak to that.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's just I was humbled out of the gate of just understanding that, you know, you're not in fast food, you're not in the food industry and stuff. You know, you're in an office space. You know, so there's a different decorum and stuff like that, of course. But it's not about how you, I guess, host yourself and everything. You know, you don't have to be all hoity-toity, the tie up to your neck all the time. You know, it's just holding a different, like, decorum of professionalism, like how you approach people, how you approach the problems, how you approach the task and the projects and stuff like that. So once I started to understand how to, you know, work around those things better, I started to adapt that to my own life, you know, to my own problems, situations, to my own personal tribulations and stuff like that. And, you know, just like Nancy Drew, you know, I just started, you know, using those same problem solving skills, you know, and applying the pressure the same way, you know, just believing that the world isn't over, just like you would tell the kids and stuff. So
I mean, in my line of work, I, like, on the first day I had to fail, like,
wow,
and I had to, like, be thrown to the wolves on my first day, and just that feeling itself just was like, oh, you got to come through, you got to pull through. Yep. And I think it was more of like how you respond to things kind of is your brand, right? And when the failure, okay, so we'll talk around it, but I work in a food industry with point of sale systems. Point of sale system is the first stop for money to come into the company. And so, like, I'm in IT, so I have to make sure the point of sale system is up at all times. And when it's down, I gotta let the CEO know, the COO know, I gotta let the CFO know that, hey, we're not taking money right now. Yeah. And everybody is watching you. Like, damn. When is it gonna be? When are we taking money again? Right. And then
even when it's in redundancy, we'll talk later. Yeah.
All eyes on you. You just gotta fail. You gotta pull it together. You gotta put it through. And then when you come through and you're like, oh wow, all right, cool. And then you start learning that, oh, when the system goes down, you can't tell them. You can't not tell them. They gonna find out at the end of the day. So they gonna see the sales. They be like, what happened here? Because it's not a normal day. You know. So I think being under that pressure and being under the microscope, honestly, of just saying, okay, are we taking money right now, really helped me showcase who I was. Like, I didn't crack under pressure, but I said, we got a problem, we got to resolve it, and I kept everybody informed. That just now takes me back to communication, right? Yep. Like, you can't be, I think we become comfortable with success. I don't know, comfortable with success, maybe uncomfortable with failure. And I think you have to fail at some point in order to really pick up the tools that you need to succeed.
Yes.
But like that's just like hopping into relationships or hopping out of relationships. You don't want to hop out of a relationship because you don't want to look like a failure in this relationship. Right. You didn't had the whole timeline with this person.
That's so real though.
Like,
that's so real.
Like,
that's so real.
What happened?
Right.
Anyway,
I just saw your Instagram. Y'all were cool yesterday.
Girl, she don't post him no more.
Damn.
Or we're scared to just like be ourselves truly, because we don't want to lose something, right? It's a fear of like a scarcity feeling, right? It's like, I might lose this relationship, I might lose this job, I might lose this if I do this, I do this. And if you just let go of everything, it's like, yo, I'm me. Yeah. At the end of the day, and I'm like choosing to like learn from my mistakes. I'm choosing to respond differently. Yes. Things just start lining up.
Yes.
And you get to really be yourself 360, like 100% of the time. I don't know.
You live a much fuller life.
You said it well. You said it well.
Your life is so much fuller when you're
stop
just
lying,
yourself.
Like literally, like I'll tell little lies to like protect people.
Yo, Paris for real, yes, yeah.
I had nothing to worry about.
Yes,
like I could have been doing this all along.
Yes,
bro.
It's this easy.
It's so easy.
It's real.
I'm a terrible liar, so I just don't lie ever. I just be like, you know what? I just didn't feel like coming. So
it just builds on top of you. Got to keep lying.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing about it. It's like,
dog. Last time. It's funny because I subscribe to that same that mindset that like you want to fail and you want to fail fast, right, in order to figure out how to succeed. And I was over here thinking like, well, where have I failed at work? No, I ain't failed at work, but I did because when I left grad school, I went into Big Four accounting, right?
Nice,
and
yes.
So nice, but like what I realized, and I've heard this phrase like "don't should all over yourself," is because like I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. I was doing what was like fed to me in school, like, oh, you're an accounting major, you have to go work for a big, like that's what success is. Yeah. And so I'm doing all these things that I was told I should do because that's what makes me successful. But I was so unhappy. And, you know, I was there and I'm working. Paris and I were actually talking yesterday. She was like, there was like this 2-year period where I didn't even see you. 3-year period where I didn't see you. Dang. And I was like, that was grad school. And the 2 years I was at this Big Four accounting firm. Yeah, you did not see me because I was studying or I was working 16-hour days, if not more. Wow. And when I finally got to my breaking point of like, this is not what I signed up for. Like, this is not me. I don't have relationships or connections with people because I'm working all day, every day. I left, right? And I think for a lot of people that knew me and like painted this picture of what Natasha's success looked like, that was a failure, right? Yeah. I take it as like, I chose wrong because I chose what other people chose for me. And I didn't choose what I wanted for myself, you know? And then even more so like during this time, during the pandemic, 100% telework, you know, I have in many ways, like I'm very much so myself at work. Like people know me. But
know me.
I had to... I'm having different conversations now with people. You know, like there's no question when I stand in front of the boardroom, the conference room, that I'm a black woman. Right. But like I'm not now. Like now, I'm talking to my director and my CFO about social justice. That wasn't happening before. I wasn't talking about racism with white people at work. Like that wasn't happening. But
that's
like,
real.
but now that
that's
work
true.
has 100% infiltrated home, guess what? You getting some home.
You getting all of it.
You like, Natasha, we notice your energy is off. It is. You want to know why? Because another black man was killed today. Yeah. You want to talk about it?
What is their response?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we saw that.
Jeez.
I mean, it's a very different conversation, but it's also like I own that being one of the highest sitting people in my department that's of color.
Yes.
I have to have these conversations because
absolutely
no one else is.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And that is going back to the power of sharing that, like, and if I can come to you and tell you that it's bothering me, you better believe it's bothering everybody else that looks like me.
Exactly. All the way down the ladder.
So we got to do something. We need a team building. We need some time off. Like we need something. We need something. Like or just for you to check in. Yeah. You know, like instead of like I sit here and I do all this work for you. What are you doing for me? You don't listen.
You want to talk? Okay, yeah. I mean, I got your report done, but guess what? Also, I'm taking off Friday because I'm going to the March on Washington.
Exactly.
Also, I'm taking off Election Day because I'm a registered poll worker. Also, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm not playing with y'all. Like, this is too much. And I feel like we're in a time, again, with like everything that we've touched on today, the transparency, the loving of ourselves, the vulnerability, communication, like all the powers combined, right? Like
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
We're in a position to really like change our relationship, like with each other, both personally and professionally.
Yes.
And because like we just have to like don't be afraid to have those conversations with someone that you love romantically, or someone that you spend the bulk of your day with because you work with them.
Right.
Like this is what's going on. You don't just passively ask me how are you, because now I'm gonna tell you, we had the episode like how are you really, like I'm not just good. Right, like this is everything. How was your weekend? Well, actually my weekend wasn't that great.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's talk about it. You have to get like, so now we have this mood meter that we use, and we show like all of our meetings for in-service where they always started with, where are you on the mood meter? And so they put up, it's like this quadrant chart. It's red, yellow, green, and blue. So you can put on your computer, take your little tool and like drop a annotation to say where you are on the mood meter. So everybody is like, pretty much like day one, everyone's like green, you know, but there's like 100,000 words in each box. Like all the way from like, I'm terrific, I'm chill, I'm relaxed, I'm sympathetic, I'm angry,
frustrated,
right? All of these words. So everyone's dropping where they are. So by the end of last week, everyone's like in the red. Like, I'm between red and blue. But my principal said, so we're doing this now because we realize that there's a lot of stuff going on.
It is.
So in order for us to read the room, if we were at work, we can literally see body language, facial expressions to know how we need to move forward. We can't really do that now. So we need to show the mood meter, and this is how we read the room from now on. If everybody's in the green, we proceed as usual. If folks are in the red, in the blue, some are in the yellow, maybe we need to take a few more minutes, give people a space and a time to share whatever they're dealing with, and then proceed with business.
That gives everyone a voice.
Like,
that's really good.
Girlfriend. Yes.
That's really good.
Yes. Now we need to use this in class.
Right.
Send it to me in the email.
I'm like, send it to me.
I can send it to you, girl. I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's a really great. Your school should use it too.
They should. I mean, they got their own methods and stuff, but they should. They should. This was good, y'all. This was really good.
I know. I don't want to stop talking.
I know.
This was really good. I'm so glad that we got that summed up, like for real. Bowler, you hit the exclamation point right on it. You summed it up like perfectly. You know, well spoken and said. You know, I just really hope, as every episode that we drop and everything, that everyone took away what they were supposed to from this, because, you know, not just giving away the guidebook of the recipes and stuff, like this is stuff that people are living with. This is how we've developed, but at the same time, it's a chance for you to develop as well too. You know, in your own self. Like it's hard. Like as you heard it from all four of us, like it's not easy. It wasn't easy, and we're not expecting any more of it to be easier. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that we're gonna stop.
Right.
Because growing doesn't stop.
At all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
You feel it? You're like, I've just gotten my life handed to me today.
Yeah, I did. It was great. I knew what I was gonna get though. Dom, you can tell him where to find us.
Are you okay?
Yes.
He got to sit with him. We need to have a little
This was good. It was so good.
You need to center yourself.
Yes,
You need a moment.
a quick. But Dom, you can tell them where to find us.
Okay, you can find us.
Yes.
BHURDEPodcast@gmail.com.
Hey.
BHURDE Podcast on Instagram. BHURDE Podcast on the Twitters.
Yes.
And Facebook. For those of you who like Facebook.
Yes, man.
I don't.
Those
But
who like Facebook.
those who enjoy it.
and YouTube now, too.
Dropping. We on YouTube. Okay. Well, by the time y'all hear this, we
already there. We gonna be there.
You done seen it. Yes, you done seen it. Okay.
Bando Bevs, anything last to go out with for the people, for the herd?
Again, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Find out how you want to be loved and do it to yourself first. You know, that sounds a little weird.
Yeah,
but,
just
do it to yourself. I mean,
not
make
figuratively, not literally.
I
know we're in a pandemic.
We don't talk about it. That too.
In whatever way you need it today.
I mean, if you okay.
But you can find us at Bando Bevs on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. Not a huge fan of it. I don't think we're on Twitter. Are we on Twitter?
No,
We're not. We might be though.
we might be.
Check that page. Check that page.
The herd following us probably.
Right.
Yes.
And then what is it? Spotify and Apple Music to take a listen. And we hope that you'll join us for a cocktail and mocktail, one of our episodes.
Indeed. I'm a huge fan of the show. I know y'all will be too. Make sure y'all subscribe to them and everything. I had a great time, Dom. Anything else?
Yes. No, this was like a therapy session.
Yeah, you gotta invite us back for the vibes. I mean, we can do
yeah, for sure.
weekend,
right?
For sure.
See you next Sunday.
Yes. Say less.
Our weekly meetup.
I love it. Well, as usual, be you, be true,
Be her.
drop the bomb.
Boom.
Bah.